Hello friends, welcome to yet another episode of EduSkills Learning Made Easy. Today we are going to reflect upon the new education policy, the National Education Policy 2020, a long cherished dream that has come true, or at least in the process. After 34 years of stagnancy in the education system, now we have a new policy which is approved by the cabinet. What is next? It has to go through both the floors of the parliament and get the approval, then signed by the President of India to reach the execution stage. Now it is the critical time for us. I am proposing before you a 2-minute challenge to make India a Vishwa Guru. If this national education policy is executed in its real sense, spirit and letter of the law, definitely India will be one of the superpowers in the very near future. But then the biggest challenge we have, or the lacuna in the new education policy or in the execution of the policy, is the challenge I am proposing before you. But before that, let me give you, in a nutshell, what is new education policy 2020. First of all, let us look into the structure of the education system. There's a shift from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 years, followed by 4 years of graduation. The first 5 years is known as the foundation stage. This stage includes 3 preschool years and grade 1 and 2. The foundation of learning is laid through activity-based learning. Then the next 3 years is known as the preparatory stage. This stage includes grades 3 to 5. The stage introduces maths, arts, social science, and humanities subjects. The proposed style of learning is activity-based learning through plays and discoveries, interactive classroom learning, or learner-centered learning. Now the third stage is 3 years, which is middle stage. The stage includes grades 6 to 8. The stage introduces the core subjects with fixed syllabus. From 6th grade, students will be encouraged to have internships and vocational training will be introduced to them. And the fourth stage, the 4 years, secondary stage or the high school stage, focuses on in-depth study of the core subjects. Certain degree of freedom will be allocated to the students to choose certain subjects of their interest. The focus will be on deep learning, goal setting, and critical thinking. And the next stage, the 5th stage, is 4 years graduation or degree studies. The highlights here are interdisciplinary options are allowed. For example, art students can opt for physics as a subject, or the science students can opt for political science as a subject. However, certain subjects will be considered compulsory. The second highlight is multiple entry and multiple exit is allowed. After 1 or 2 years of study, if a student wants to take a break and go for internships or work, he can discontinue the studies, exit from the studies, and spend 1 or 2 years out of the campus and again come back to continue his studies. And if he discontinues after first year, he will be given a course certificate. And a student discontinuing after the second year of degree studies, he will be given a diploma certificate. And a student who completes 3 years of degree studies will be given degree certificate. And after 3 years of degree, one can go for 2 years masters and get into job, or he can continue the degree for 4 years, the integrated degree, and do 1 year's masters and get into PhD studies. Third option is there are major and minor subjects allowed. Science students can have physics as major and music as a minor subject. So there are many options whereby you can enhance your skills. The major highlights of NEP are: learn how to learn is a track culture away from rote learning or learning for the exam purpose. Focus of the learning is holistic growth, discovery-based learning, analysis-based learning, discussion-based learning, inquiry-based learning, and key 21st century skills like artificial intelligence, design thinking, coding, computational thinking, etc. are introduced into the learning. So also technology enhanced learning is introduced in this system. Third, the content of the learning. The focus is on the key the conceptual understanding, than learning for the examination purpose or rote learning. Applications, problem solvings, ideas are given emphasis. And fourthly, the style of learning is interactive learning or experiential learning or personalized learning. And fifthly, the assessment pattern. The beautiful assessment pattern goes into assessing the core capacities and competencies of each student. The self-assessment, peer assessment, and the teacher or expert assessment are the three segments in the process of assessment. The sixth highlight is uniqueness. Recognize and identify the unique capabilities of each student is the focus and goal of the education. Now coming to the major challenges: teacher training, equipping the teachers, existing teachers, and bringing in new teachers with proper training. There's also infrastructure, and again the technology enhanced learning. We have hardly 38% of internet penetrance in India. But the core challenge is finance or the budget. As of now, we have only 3% of GDP, that is 5.6 lakh crore rupees in 2018 and 19 allotted for the education sector. But then, this is not sufficient. If we have to translate new education policy into a real experience for you and for me and for the future generations, the government has to allocate at least 10% of the GDP to the education sector. This has to be realized by our MPs, the members of the parliament. As and when the draft comes to the floor for the discussion, our MPs should press upon allocating at least 10% of the GDP into the education sector. And here lies our 2-minute challenge. If that is done, the whole future generation will salute the Modi-ji-led central government forever. Now, so what am I to do? I should, or you should, or we should burn at least 2 minutes of our time and share this message so that it reaches each and every MP, member of the parliament in our country, so that they realize to stress upon this basic challenge, which is a foundation for the realization of national education policy. Otherwise, the whole new education policy will be a new wine in old bottle. So it's my humble request. Take 2 minutes of your time to serve our country, to love our country, so that we send this message, pressing message, to each and every member of our parliament, so that they open their eyes into this aspect of new education policy and allot proper budget, at least 10% of our GDP, into the execution of new education policy. As Rudyard Kipling, a famous philosopher and writer, said, "If I don't burn, if you don't burn, if we don't burn, how the shadows become light? If I don't spend 2 minutes of my time for my nation, if you don't burn 2 minutes of your time, and if we don't burn 2 minutes of our time for our nation, to reach this message to all our contacts, sharing this message to all our contacts, so that it reaches each and every member of our parliament, so that parliament takes a decision to allocate the proper budget with the due respect and regard to this national education policy. I have done burning of my time. It's your turn to burn 2 minutes for your nation. Let's all together send this message to the whole country. Anybody from any corner of the world can do this, so that the universal brotherhood is enhanced. We support our brethren in India. Let's say, I love India, we love India, and you love India, definitely. So you're going to share this message and reach to each and every MP in India. That both the houses of the parliament consider this aspect of the challenge, so that other aspects can be gradually tackled with the support of the budget that is allocated to this sector. So let's say, I love India, you love India, we love India. I love India. May God bless you. Thank you.